Yo quería hacer una película que diera a la gente que tomaba LSD en esa época las alucinaciones que la droga daba sin alucinación. Yo no quería que se tomara LSD, yo quería fabricar la droga. El cine iba a cambiar la mentalidad del público. Mi ambición con Dune fue tremenda. Me daban todos los medios económicos de hacer lo que yo quisiera. Y entonces lo que yo quise es crear un profeta. I want to create a prophet to change the young mind of all the world. For me, Dune will be the coming of a god, artistical, cinematographical god. For me, it was not to make a picture. It was something deeper. I wanted to make something sacred, free, with new perspective, open the mind. Because I feel in that time myself inside a prison, my ego, my intellect. I want to open. I start the fight to make Dune.
You think, okay, that guy was going to do an adaptation of Dune, Frank Herbert's Dune in the 70s, and he got this amazing team of artists together. H.R. Giger, who was famous later on for designing the Alien, the look of Alien, and Mobius, who was probably France's foremost comic book artist. Dan O'Bannon, Chris Foss, these incredible artists who all came together as Jodorowsky's spiritual warriors, as he calls them, to help him realize his vision. And then you have all those visuals, and then you have the incredible cast that he put together. So there's everybody from Mick Jagger to David Carradine to Orson Welles to Salvador Dali to Jodorowsky's own son. You put all of them together on screen with a soundtrack provided by Pink Floyd. It becomes natural. It becomes natural to believe that this is the greatest movie never made. And the greatest movie never, it was a shame to me that the greatest movie never made was not only never made, but that the story wasn't as well known as it should be. So we just worked hard to try and make the story more well known.
What do you think would have happened if the movie had been made? How would that have changed history?
It would have changed the history regardless. I mean, I kind of think that we're on the center path of life, where his movie didn't happen, yet it still influenced the world. There's so many, all the people that he worked with, they went out, their lives were changed from working with him, and they created new things, and the ideas, the artwork they came up with still managed to shoot off into the universe somehow and influence other films. And had his film been completed and had been a success, that would have meant that a success would have been made out of something very out of the ordinary, by a science fiction film that predates Star Wars, predates all of that, as well as being an extremely avant-garde film. So that would have been very interesting. What would films have been like afterward? Would studios have realized or have thought that avant-garde films may have been palatable to the general public? Had his film been realized, came out and been a failure, what would that mean for films? I'm sure that means that Fox, who was already not behind Star Wars, would have put a halt to Star Wars and would have stopped that. And without Star Wars, where does popular cinema go? What would happen? What would the big tentpole films be every summer? Maybe they wouldn't be science fiction films. Maybe it wouldn't be the Avengers and things like that. Maybe it would be Harlequin romance movies. It could be anything. Who knows? So the possibilities are endless in these bizarre alternate universes. I don't know who could possibly do an adaptation of Dune today, because before Jodorowsky attempted his version, it was going to be David Lean, So I guess David Lean was going to make, I don't know, Lawrence of Arabia in space. I don't know how that was going to be. So it went from him to Jodorowsky, and then it went to Ridley Scott, and then Ridley Scott ended up walking away from it, and then it ended up with David Lynch. David Lynch made his version. Then there was a sci-fi miniseries a couple of years ago, and then just a year or two ago, Peter Berg was trying to do it, and Pierre Morel from Taken, he was trying to do an adaptation. So this Dune has been done so many times, yet people still feel the pull of it, still feel the pull of the material, and want to come back and are trying to tell that story. So can it even be done? I don't know. It's interesting because its influence is already out in the world. So, like, you know, would Dune takes place on the desert planet of Arrakis? Would Star Wars have opened up on the desert planet of Tatooine if Frank Herbert's Dune didn't take place there? Would the planet of Tatooine from Star Wars have had two suns if Frank Herbert's Dune didn't have two suns? So all these things are already out there and have already been taken from this book. So I think maybe the director that would best be able to handle Dune, maybe he hasn't even been born yet. Maybe the technology is not even there yet, and maybe this director has not even been born. Maybe he's being born as we speak. Maybe he's in the hospital right now. Only time will tell, I suppose. Exactly. That's it.
Okay, one last question.
Sure.
Let's talk about the release.
Okay. Well, Sony Pictures Classics is going to be releasing Jodorowsky's Dune in the U.S. And right now we're looking at a March 7th release, and I honestly could think of no better company. I'm so proud to be with them and to watch the film screen here at Fantastic Fest in Austin, and to see the Sony Pictures Classics blue logo at the head and the tail of the film. It's just, you know, all my favorite films. They've handled so many of them, you know, Sugar Man from last year, going all the way back to Crumb. I mean, there's nothing better than that. I'm just so incredibly thrilled.